Welcome back to another episode of our hashtag Be Inspired series. Today, we're joined by a visionary leader in criminal justice and a Fulbright-Humphrey Fellow as she shares unique insights on navigating public administration and enhancing services through innovation and leadership, all while balancing a fulfilling personal life. Welcome, Attorney Jeza Mae Sarah Sanchez. Thank you for joining us today. And how has life been treating you lately?
Hindi lahat ng tao nagtatanong ng ganyan, no? So I'm very glad you asked me that question. This past several months, it's full of challenges and opportunities. But Mon, I'm so glad that I had this opportunity to make a positive impact and to do service to the field of criminal justice system.
Yes, yeah. So you're really making a difference in what you do, attorney. So thank you very much for that one. So what initially sparked your interest in pursuing a career in law, and what's like the specific area of law that you specialize in?
So those are two questions. No, I'll answer the second one, which is what particular field in law do I specialize in? So actually, here in the Philippines, we don't have this field of specialization when it comes to law. So for me, for myself, I don't have the field of specialization. More of I would consider myself as someone who is into a lawyer who is into public policy and public administration. So the second question is what led me to to enter the law profession. So before being a lawyer and before being employed in the government service, I was a chemist. So chemistry, nagtapos ako ng chemistry, yes.
Wow.
Uh, I was a DOST scholar. And I work in private institutions, particularly in manufacturing plant. Usually, the chemists, if they are involved in manufacturing plant, we do quality assurance. So we are quality assurance specialists. In one manufacturing plant, I was more of the checking on the quality of our products. And the second one is more on the biological aspect of the products. So there, I was employed in two manufacturing plant, and the second one was in Davao City, San Miguel Corporation. And between the two corporation, I've seen the stark contrast in the welfare and benefits of employees, especially those in charge in the production line itself. I've seen there that San Miguel Corporation really take good care of their employees. And because of that, I realized that if a person knows exactly what their rights are, how to demand those rights, their living condition will really improve. Like, let's say in San Miguel, their living conditions, how the company treats them is good because they know very well their rights and how to demand those rights. So there, I have, I have this realization that I have to know what the laws are so that I could protect my rights. I could demand when I need to demand. I could also protect the rights of my loved ones and the people around me. And here in the government service, I could know how to support our clientele and the people around me in getting what they are supposed to get based on law and rules and regulations.
So going back a little, attorney, so your degree again is chemistry?
Yes, correct. Chemistry.
Wow. And then what made you choose to like I'm gonna pursue law? What's like the turning point maybe in a way? So
Turning point. Yes. So the turning point really is those experience in those manufacturing plant. I've seen worst. I've seen better. And the difference between the two
mm,
is, the employees in the second
mm,
corporation in San Miguel
uh,
knows very well their rights and
mm,
privileges and how to
mm.
demand them. So they get better.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's why, okay,
mm,
if people know what they are, then they could demand better. So I will just apply that to myself. If I know my rights, how can I know my rights? I have to study law. How can I protect the rights of my loved ones and the people around me? I have to study law. I have to know the
Mhm.
law. So that's really the turning point.
Wow. So what's like the most rewarding aspect of your legal career somehow?
The most rewarding aspect, being a lawyer in public administration and public policies. You have a chance to become a leader. You have the chance to supervise and lead people. And for me, that's the rewarding aspect. You have this opportunity to mold people, to inspire them, to uplift their spirit so that they could come up in themselves, they could come up with ideas that could improve the lives of the people around them, that could impact our services that we provide. So that's inspires me and that motivates me, this
Yeah, thank you.
opportunity.
Yeah, so what advice would you give to aspiring lawyers or maybe just starting their studies? Because it's not
First
easy to study law, like many things to memorize and all. So maybe
one,
what tip can you share, attorney?
for aspiring lawyers, know your non-negotiables. If you know your non-negotiables, whatever challenge that comes your way, it will not easily sway you. It will not easily, discourage you if you know your non-negotiables. That applies as law student. That applies as well to the lives of lawyers in the government service, even in private practice. Just know your non-negotiables.
Yes, know your non-negotiable. So that's the tip that Attorney Zamay can share with everyone. So what's the biggest change you've seen in the BGMP for the like 15 years of working at the department, and what makes you motivated?
So, being employed here for more than 15 years, I could say that I am proud of the organization that I belong in, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. We have our shares of challenges as well as opportunities. And what I am very much proud of is we have this culture of being open to innovation, being open to global best practices in order to improve the services that we provide. Like for example, this week we are preparing because this week we will have the quality audit, internal quality audit for in relation to ISO 9001 2015. So I am the lead auditor here in Region 10 to make sure we do the
Wow.
prep on. So we are open to that. We as much as possible we try to, with the limited budget that we have, we try to make sure that we are in compliance not just with laws and regulations but as well as with global best practices, the UN Mandela rules and everything. So that's what I am very much proud of with my organization. We've seen that those changes from the very basic safekeeping and development, paangat ng paangat, yung standards that we implement with the services that we provide.
Yes, attorney. So thank you very much for doing what you do. So how about going to the innovation and impact? So how do your data tools improve the BGMP's like daily work and results?
So most of our tools, we have one tool which has been implemented pilot tested nationwide, but most of our tools, those are implemented here in Northern Mindanao in Region 10. Um, one of one of these tools is with what we call as Justice Data Lab. So Justice Data Lab, it's a data analysis and data management tool wherein we could forecast the expected and adjusted date of release of PDL. Once we have the data of PDL in our system, we could forecast when they are supposed to be released. By doing so, we make sure that no PDL would overstay in our institutions, in our jail units. So that's it. We implemented that since 2020, and every year we do improvement. So what I'm very much proud of this monitoring tool that we have is that the usual method of development of innovation is that the let's say the higher authorities would think of this particular innovation and then they would
Mm,
implement it for all to follow or to
mhm.
implement. But what we have in our system is we it's iterative. And what do you mean with iterative? We change, we improve from time to time based on the feedback from the users. Who are our users? They are usually the people on the ground who know better, who have seen how the system needs to improve, or how this particular glitch could or they have seen this glitches, and they pointed it to us, and we're always open to it. So that's how our system improve, and that's what I am very much proud of. We develop systems that are based on the needs of the user as well as the capabilities of the user as well.
So how does your legal background help projects for PDLs, and what project are you most proud of, and what are its impacts?
Definitely, my law background really helped me make sure that the projects that we have we do not violate the laws or the constitutional rights of this PDL. So that's the basic and fundamental consideration for that. And the second one is that how does it impact? So I've mentioned about the Justice Data Lab, and it makes sure that all our jail units, we don't have overstaying PDL. The second project that I would like to sh- to relate to you is what we call as paralegal micro learning series. So how should I say that? You know, if you have personnel that are supposed to support or supposed to help or when I say PDL, I mean persons deprived of liberty. Some people call that inmates or detainees. We
Mhm,
call that persons deprived of liberty. So we
mhm,
have this personnel. They are jail officers who are not lawyers but are supposed to help persons deprived of liberty, make sure that they don't overstay, make sure that their cases are being followed up. So it's kind of challenging for this personnel to do that, especially if they don't have the background in law, or yeah,
yes.
they're lawyers. So what we
Mhm,
do is we capacitate them. So
mhm, mhm,
for example, 50 paralegal officers, or nationwide, let's say, for example, you have 500 paralegal officers at least. How do you train that? That would entail a lot of expenses on the part of the government, diba? 500, the minimum. That would entail a lot of expenses
mhm,
of the government. So what we did in Region 10
mhm,
is that we come up with the electronic, before we had this electronic paralegal learning module, but it's not being updated and it's not online. We cannot monitor who takes it from time to time. So what we did is we develop our own paralegal micro learning series. So anyone can access that, even paralegal officers who are not members of the PJMP, anyone can access that. We have the lessons modules for each law. It's also being monitored, like you are a teacher, so you have to know if the learning module really helped them improve
mhm,
their
mhm,
knowledge, right? So we have pre-test, post-test, and we monitor that. We also make sure that they provide evaluation after, to make sure so that we would know how to improve the modules and also our platform. So the International Committee of the Red Cross provided support for that.
mhm,
The European Union Go Just project also provided support to that, and hopefully this H3 we will
mhm,
have the implementation of that project. So it started here in Region
mhm,
10. I lead my team of very
mhm,
much dedicated, passionate,
mhm,
creative people here to come up with that program. And we also tapped our BJMP lawyers to
mhm.
come up with the modules. So the modules are more like we do storytelling. So the
Mhm,
lawyers, imagine lawyers, they are not so knowledgeable in
mhm,
coming up with stories, but they have to make sure that the relaying the laws is engaging, and you know
mhm,
people could relate to that. So we
mhm,
also capacitate them in order to come up with that. And um the people from the International Committee of the Red Cross and the GOJAS, they were like, wow, you're able to come up with that in such a small amount of time and with
Mm-hmm.
limited resources.
Yes.
So I hope I could share that to you as well. So maybe some people that are viewing this are also interested in taking first courses.
So you are leading your team of paralegals attorneys. So how do you define, or what's your own definition of a leader, or maybe an excellent leader?
So, funny thing is that I don't just lead paralegals here. I hold three offices. So it's legal and paralegal services. I also lead the planning and program development division.
Oh,
I
mm.
lead the welfare and development division.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's challenging,
Mm-hmm.
if you come to think of it, like three offices all at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. But um, I've seen this work. You just capacitate your people. You trust them with doing their task, less supervision, and
Mm-hmm.
expect that that they will impress you with
Mm-hmm.
results. So that's
Yes.
how I lead them. I capacitate them, and I
Mm-hmm.
trust that they will do their job.
So trust is the word. So how about can you tell us a little more, attorney, about the Fulbright-Humphrey Fellowship and how did it impacted your perspective and your current job, maybe in a way after the program?
That's an interesting question. I want to know how did it improve your take on,
Mm-hmm.
your we were in the US at the same time. It's
Mm.
the height of the
Yeah, it
pandemic.
is.
Yeah. The
Yeah, that's
challenge
so true.
and also
Mm-hmm.
the resilience it taught us. How did it improve you as,
Yeah,
an
resilience is,
individual?
yeah, resilience, I think, is the word somehow, but it really changed and widened our perspectives when it comes to many things. But then it made us realize that there's still more to do. There's still a
You're
lot of
still
things to do, but yeah, it widened our perspective and opened my mind, I guess. So that's for me.
correct. I like to use the word. It widened my perspective. Before coming to the US, I will have this notion that, I can do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this, I can do that. But
Mm-hmm.
after this experience, no, you can't do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You must empower people. You must empower them so they could also do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
The US experience provided to me.
Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little more, attorney, about this program and how long was it and what did you do in the US?
Yeah, so we have this. I was a part of the Humphrey Fellowship program. It's supposed to be a 10-month program, but because of the pandemic, it was shortened to 7 months in our case. So the Humphrey Fellowship program brings to the US mid-level career professionals. What is unique about this program is that it's not just purely academic. We are not just, given universities for us to study. We're also supposed to attend conferences and somehow present. Also, we are expected to contribute to the community. So I did some mentoring to community colleges. Also, and I think that's the most crucial aspect, we are supposed to work in US
Mm-hmm.
institutions, whether they are private or civil society organization. I
Mm-hmm.
work with the government, with the Minnesota Management and Budget. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like because it's the US is federal system. So it's like the Department of Budget and Management in Minnesota. So they have this team of um, impact evaluation unit wherein they measure the effectiveness of the programs of the state, the programs that the state implements. So actually that experience in the impact evaluation unit of Minnesota inspired me to implement monitoring tools to
Mm,
measure the impact, to measure the effectiveness of the services that we
mm,
do here, whether they are livelihood programs, skills enhancement programs,
mm,
spiritual programs, behavior modification program. I want to make sure
mhm,
that we are maximizing the
mm,
effects that we have
mhm,
in providing these services. So that experience in the US inspired me to come up with these tools actually. So my work there is I was part of the team studying what are the most effective programs that will help because in the US they have this opioid addiction problem. A lot of people are addicted to opioids or in layman's term painkillers. And what is especially crucial or critical in the aspect of those criminally, those they term that as in criminal justice involved individual, what is crucial about them is that when they are incarcerated, they
mhm,
were forced to have withdrawals because they cannot
mm,
use opiates inside
mm,
the jail. So they were forced to do withdrawal. Once they are outside, once they were released, 20 to 30% of these people
mm.
dies of
Oh,
overdose in a span of 2 months.
uh,
Why? Because when they are inside, they did not use the
mm,
opiates. It's prohibited.
mm,
And once they were released, they're parang yung gustong-gusto na nila gumamit.
mm,
But the problem is that mababa na yung tolerance. They have very low tolerance because they were forced to do withdrawal inside. So what happens when you have very low tolerance? Agad-agad nag-overdose. So what the state wanted to address is how to minimize this from happening because these people, these are lives, they have families, also they could use them, they could still be, they could still contribute to the economic development of their state or of their country. So what I was part of this team studying how to make sure that this in criminal justice involved individual will have the support that they need once they are outside. So make sure that they do not overdose within that period of time.
mm.
So I think the policy paper that we were able to produce was submitted to the legislature. I just wasn't sure if it has been adopted by the legislature, but I'm so proud that I was part of that team, coming up with this um, policy paper that could have tremendous impact on the lives of the people.
Yeah, yeah. So how long were you again attorney in the US? 7, right? Mm-hmm.
7, yes, yes.
Wow. It's really challenging. Like we go to the US, and sometimes people would say that life in the US is easy and all that, but when
Oh,
you're there, you would
yeah,
see really the
that's,
struggles
yeah.
and the
I,
challenges.
Yeah, I'm so glad you pointed that out because, in the movies, we always see that, oh, this is the American dream. But when you arrive there, really, this is the US. Like you would see people in the train, like, so high, in whatever they are taking. So you see
Mm,
homelessness, you
mm,
see. Yes, wow, this is happening
mm,
in the US, and you think that you were there to get ideas on how to
mm,
improve our system, but really you are also there to contribute to how
mm.
to improve their system.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
we learn something from them, and they also learn somehow in a way
Yes,
from us.
the
Uh,
essence of the Fulbright
mhm.
scholarships.
Okay, so how about going outside a little attorney? I know, so you were there for like 7 months. So you were also able to travel somehow. So what are the places that you visited in the US, and what's your favorite, and maybe what are those places that you are looking forward to visiting maybe in the future?
Nandito na tayo sa exciting part, no? So,
Yeah.
actually, I was so inspired by your pictures and videos and reels of your travel in the US. And your mostly your trips are, nature inspired. So I really like that. So in the US, since we were like the Humphrey Fellowship program is um managed by the no less than the State Department itself. So during the span of I think 6 months, we were not allowed to go outside our state. So that's
Ah,
but what I did
uh,
is like I took advantage of it. Like since Minnesota is like the state with 1,001 lakes, so I
oh,
bike around these
mm,
lakes. I ski around. So I've experienced all these things in Minnesota,
mhm,
and I also went back there last year
mhm,
and visited the Grand Canyon. It was so spectacular. I wanted to do the Antelope Canyon, maybe get
mhm,
willing in the next round of visit there.
mhm.
Also the places that you visited in Washington State, I
Yes.
wanted to visit that. Those are really, really like if you are into nature, I think
Mhm.
those are a must. The places that you visit.
And then when I was in the US, I also want to visit the Yosemite National Park.
I did visit that. You should
Yeah,
like
I'm like, but due to budgetary constraints, I'm like, maybe next time if I visited all of them, there's no reason for me to come back. So I was like, maybe next
do
time.
that together. I want to go back there. Like,
Mhm.
it's a huge place. We were
Mhm.
like, I visited that for like 5 days, but
Eh?
I still have I even the places that I went to, I
Mhm.
wanted to return to it.
Mhm.
Like the glacier place there in
Mhm.
Yosemite. It's so like wow,
Yes, I only saw them on videos like the El Capitan, the Half Dome, something like
half
that. And I know
dome.
there are
Yeah.
many trails there, Attorney, right? Very beautiful, even on
I
pictures.
I I joined 3 or 4 times the lottery for those who can climb the half dome, but
Mm.
unfortunately, I
Oh,
wasn't fortunate enough to be picked.
yes,
Maybe return there with
yes,
some friends like
yes.
you.
For the next,
I
that's
did.
for the next episode.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, I know also, Attorney, that you visited, not just the US, but many other countries. So what are the other
Mm.
countries that you visited, and maybe what other countries are you looking forward to visiting?
Mm. So I visited places here in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Bali, Indonesia. Also, some places in Asia, China, South Korea, and Japan. Yeah, Japan, where you are right now. I
Yes.
like the food. Wow,
Mm.
and the culture, of course, but the food.
Healthy
Um,
and also good.
The recent one that I visited is so I did the Europe tour via Turkey.
Wow.
Turkey,
Mm.
the food, the culture and the ancient places,
Mm.
spectacular. I also visited Prague,
Mhm.
nice places. But what really struck me is the Netherlands. My
Mhm.
visit in Amsterdam, like the culture there, the culture of the people there
Mhm.
they are straightforward.
Mhm.
They are handsome and beautiful. They
Mhm.
are like tall, and I like the culture there. It's
Mhm.
laid back and at the same time straightforward. I
Mhm.
really like it there. Also the museum, good, but I've seen the excellent museum in New York and in California, but really the culture there. I want that kind of culture, laid back and at the same time straightforward.
Yeah, so you've visited many places already, Attorney Ano. So how about maybe any other countries that you would want to visit in the future?
Um, I haven't I haven't visited yet, so I'm really looking forward to it. South America, Africa, uh, South, East Asia, that Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. So I haven't visited those places
Mhm.
yet, so I hope I could visit them someday if
Yes.
I have been able to save enough.
Mhm. For the next episode. And I'm looking
God
forward to
willing, God willing.
seeing your posts for that trip, Attorney.
I'm looking forward for always looking forward for your posts as well. Keep doing that. It inspires people like me. Like, wow, I'm so glad he was able to
Mm,
go to these places and share to us
mm,
the experience like we were there.
mm. I think it's
You
also nice, Attorney, ano, like we have friends from other countries because sometimes through their perspective, we can see like it's really beautiful
correct,
and all that. And then we are
correct.
looking at it with the admiration. Like we all will also wish that hopefully we can be there in a way we can also visit that place. Ayan. And also
Yeah,
from your
correct.
travels, Attorney, I've seen some
Yeah,
pictures also, so it's very nice and interesting. How about maybe
yeah.
your favorite food naman in the many countries you
Favorite
visited?
food,
Mm.
of course, nothing beats Japan. Next to Filipino food, nothing beats
Mm.
Japanese food.
Mhm.
um, any kind of ramen, kakiagi.
I think one also unique thing here in Japan, Attorney, about ramen is that usually in every prefecture they have a different type of ramen.
Correct,
So
correct,
when you visit a
correct,
different prefecture, it's still ramen, but it tastes different from the other
correct.
prefectures. So yeah, it's
Even
really nice.
okonomiyaki, like
Mm.
they have this Hiroshima okonomiyaki,
And the
Osaka
Osaka, yes,
okonomiyaki.
yeah,
Yes.
it's different.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Yes.
how about in general, Attorney, during your travels in the many different countries, what are the things that you
Mm.
saw and wish that hopefully in the Philippines, maybe not now in the future, we can also have?
Hmm. A lot of things actually. Like for example, my experience in Minnesota, it's not really being implemented in the whole the US. This impact evaluation unit wherein you analyze whether every dollar you spend is really making an impact to the lives of the people around. So it's I think is it started in Minnesota, and hopefully eventually I'm really hoping that eventually our country would mature and somehow implement that kind of initiative, like
Mhm.
determining whether every peso that we spend, the government that
Mhm.
spend, is making an impact on the
Mhm.
lives of the people.
Hopefully in the future. And then again, another, I remember the attorney, ano, like a realization also for me is that when you travel outside the Philippines, you realize more of the Philippines and then we appreciate more of our country when we're not in the
Yeah,
Philippines. So what's your thought on that, attorney?
we appreciate more the Philippines as our eyes were open, correct?
Yes, attorney. So like sometimes parang mas na-appreciate natin nga like there are many things as well in the Philippines in a way.
I really appreciate this, how we build relationship, our closely knit family relations. Not just that, but the culture, like for example, the culture in yung mga kapitbahay,
Mm-hmm.
culture in the office, wherein you don't feel really alone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people would say na parang nagsusnoop ka na sa
Mm-hmm.
sa people around you, but it's really more of just checking on them,
Mm-hmm.
no?
Yes.
Checking on them.
Mm-hmm.
And people, you know, when you ask that first question, how has life been lately?
Mm-hmm.
If this is not a recorded video, I would tell you a lot of things. And you know what? I use the same question with my staff. Kumusta ka
Mm-hmm.
na? Anong pakiramdam mo?
Yes.
And they would open up
Yes.
to, like, I would not have known that these people who are working 8 to 5, who are giving their best at work, they have challenges at home. They have challenges in their relationships. They have challenges in their finances. Who would have known that if our culture would not be
Mm-hmm.
as it is?
Mhm.
So it made me appreciate Philippine culture.
Yes. And then sometimes, like, even in the farthest area, we would meet Filipinos, we would see Filipinos. Like, sometimes would say, like, even
Yeah,
for me here, I'm like, Tokushima is like, I mean, for me, I didn't know where Tokushima is, but like when I arrived here, there are many Filipinos around and they are very helpful to
yeah.
newcomers. So that's very
You
nice.
would you would know you're seeing or you're talking to a Filipino by the warmth. Yung nakikita mo pa lang, the warmth. And when nakakausap mo na sila, oh, Filipino nga talaga. Because they are very helpful.
Mhm. Yes. Ayan, ako. So going attorney about you, of course, being a lawyer and your work is not easy in a way. So how do you balance life naman like work and hobbies? Your work and enjoyment?
Yeah. So aside from travel, so papunta na tayo sa exciting na part. So I also
Yeah.
do
Uh-huh.
running, hiking. I do strength training.
Mm-hmm.
I do yoga, animal flow. It's some sort of a combination of yoga and
Mm-hmm.
mobility exercises. And sometimes I do cycling, trail biking.
So your
And
typical day. Mm.
yeah, and I'm really glad
Mm-hmm.
this sa past several months is most of the time I'm doing the outdoor activities with my
Mm-hmm.
siblings, with my
Ah.
dad.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, very nice. So how does your typical day look like, attorney? So like you go to office and then before after office?
So usually if the schedule is not too tight, so upon waking up, I do for 5 kilometers, I run for 5 kilometers. And after, so I'll do the 8 to 5, and then after work, I meet some friends, or if not, I go to the gym, do strength training or yoga or whatever classes there is, and that's it.
So about what advice can you give to our viewers who are also trying to balance work and life?
Ah, Life is not just about work. I mean, you could do better at work if you have this some sort of life outside work. So cultivate your relationship with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends. Cultivate it. Have have some sort of life hobbies, anything outside of work, and you'll notice your relationship with your superiors, with your colleagues, with your subordinates, it will improve tremendously.
So balance is really important
Yeah,
in a way.
balance.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And do meditation as well. Do
Mm-hmm.
meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe therapy work if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a balance of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pr- Do prayer. Have some faith. Like
Yes.
whatever it is that you believe in the divine being, in
Mm-hmm.
God and Allah. Have something to
Mm-hmm.
believe in. That is crucial. That is very important.
Yeah, I think it's nice also, attorney, that you have someone to look up to, like whatever time of the day is it, you can just look up the sky and ask for help or like say whatever you want to say. It's really nice to have that in our lives. Ayan. So
Correct.
during your travels, attorney, you've met like many people from all over the world. You've traveled many countries already. So what makes you proud as a Filipino? Like what makes Filipinos unique in a way?
We have this certain concern with the people around us. We care for the people around us. But I would like to point out, it's good that you asked this question, because that when you travel, you don't just take pictures
Mm-hmm.
or, taste the food. You
Mm-hmm.
also talk to people and you see the nuances in the lives of these people. Like you appreciate life more with the conversations with them. It's I just appreciate that in the recent travel that I have, like the conversations that you have with people, whether over tea or over food or while you walk,
Mm-hmm.
it really brings this unique perspective in travel. Ah, wow, this is how people live in these countries, or wow, these people are just really just trying to to thrive and to
Mhm.
exist.
Yes, I think sometimes like you're sitting there and then you would talk to your neighbor and then where are you from? What are the places that you've been here? And then conversation will continue and you'll talk about many things. And then after that you seem to be like close friends already.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So you do that often as well.
yeah. Like I like talking to people and knowing their life story in a way. I think it's really nice. It makes
It
us realize a
shows.
lot of things and
It
appreciate.
shows because you have this kind of initiative because you like talking to people.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I also like to learn about other people's stories because like most of the time we see their pictures, they travel here and there, but there are a lot of stories behind that pictures that pictures cannot capture in a way. So it's not life is not
Correct.
easy, I think.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. I agree. I agree.
And maybe last one, attorney. So what's your motto or guiding principle in life?
There are a lot of things. Like I don't know, do no harm but accept no shit. Or if I could be, switch off to being religious, like walk humbly, do justice, a lot of things. Maybe
Mhm,
one a way that I want your viewer to really have in mind is know your non-negotiables.
mhm,
Keep them short and make sure you stick to it.
mhm,
Kung if you way to bend,
mhm,
just make sure you are non-negotiable. Eventually, you'll be needing to sway, to bend, to accommodate, but always stick to your non-negotiable.
So thank
Okay.
you very much for joining us today, attorney. So last one, maybe shout out to family or friends.
Oh, okay. Shout out to my parents. Mama is my greatest critic. He would say,
Oh,
oh, Steve, oh, you
mm,
talk to Steve, oh, you're too boring, and all those stuff. Mama, here, I hope nakapasa sa standards mo. Like to shout out as well to our batchmates in the Fulbright.
yes. COVID
Uh,
batchmates.
yeah, go batchmates. yung ano natin, kabatch natin from Bicol. Hello.
Yes.
Um, Also, I wanna say hi to you there and to your classmates,
Mm,
teachers. Hi mga kababayan natin na mga Ilonggo.
yes. Mm,
Mayad nga hapon sa inyong
yes.
tanan. Who else? My friends. Hi, my staff. I'm pretty sure I will share this to them afterwards. So hi as well. And I'd like to take this opportunity mo to thank you for coming up with this initiative. Um, your life inspires people, and what I find inspiring as well is that you use this platform to gather people to um, multiply your effect of inspiring people. You are inspiring in yourself, but you use this platform to gather more people to multiply your effect of inspiring people. So I really love that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mon.
Ayan, ako, the pleasure is all mine, attorney. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I think I still have a lot of things to learn, but I'm taking one step at a time. Like every day is a learning experience. We learn something new, so I'm putting that in mind every day. I think.
As
Ayan.
I look at you, you are a person na you always seize the day, take every opportunity. You're very positive. I think you're also received. So keep it up. You're inspiring a lot of people by just being you. By just being you.
Yan, madamo gid nga salamat, attorney, and we will continue the conversation when we meet again. Parang ay pakita-kita na attorney, no? Yeah, in
Wala pa
person.
din. Wala pa din.
Wala
Si
pa
ano lang,
gid. Yes, Facebook and Instagram maybe, but soon in the future we will indeed continue the conversation, attorney.
In one of
So,
the in one of the Fulbright
alumni
event,
meet.
maybe. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
soon.
Um,
Next.
or maybe the pre-departure
Ah,
event.
yes,
You could,
yes, yes. Like the
yes,
send-off program. Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Because
Mm-hmm.
definitely, baka medyo maging active ako sa Humphrey because
Mm.
I elected as one of the board of trustees sa
Oh,
alumni
wow.
association.
Yes.
Uh,
Perfect. See you then, attorney. Madam, ugid
see you,
mig
ma'am.
salamat.
Halong dira, halong.
Salamat,
Uh,
kid.